In this video, I'm going to show you how you guys can go from this to this. What you're going to need are some common items you can find at your hardware store, such as eye protection, respirator, paint, a Dremel, a glue gun, and your basic essentials. This is our before shot, and this is our after shot. The best thing about this mod, not only is it stylish, but it'll keep your engine bay cooler because there's more airflow. And more airflow, especially if it's cold, it'll give you more horsepower. Bumper's pretty light too. Next step, we're going to remove the fog light housing or the bezels. Driver side and the passenger side. Back side of the bumper, we're going to remove the housing. Housing is super simple. There are 3 star head screws. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to remove those with our drill and our Phillips head. And 3. And we can just simply detach it. And that's your housing. Now to remove your bezel, we're going to take off 1, 2, 3 screws. 3. Next we're going to take our flathead screwdriver. And there are some tabs here, 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 here. We're going to push in with a little bit of pressure and then push down. That should pop out the housing. So, we're going to do this. See this tab right here? This is the same thing you apply to all the others. You got to push it right. That should do it. There you go. And here is our bezel. Next, what you want to do is you want to take your marker and outline the parts that you want to cut out. You also want to be marking off the back side. And that's it. So we have our outline on where we want to cut around. So let's get this started. Now for the cutting step, I like to caution everyone with safety. What you're going to need are some eye protection, a dust mask, or possibly even a respirator, some gloves. Kevlar gloves would be better. And of course, your Dremel tool with a cutting blade. We're already being able to come it off nicely. Finally got the piece I wanted to get removed. So here we have our Dremel with a sanding tool. We're going to use a sanding tool to deburr any rough edges. As you can see with our bezel, it's been sanded down with our Dremel all around the edges. It's a lot smoother. There's less burr all over the place. After that, we're going to take our 320 grit sandpaper and sand down the entire surface area. Do it until you see a haziness, because we want to make sure that there is no imperfection that can be shown later on when we paint it. From our fence wire, we're going to use our wire cutter and cut a piece. This piece is going to be roughly the size of our bezel here. I decided to use masking tape as my guideline. This is about an inch buffer of the interior perimeter. And this is our cut piece. I bent the corners of my mesh to allow it to fit perfectly around the perimeter. By doing this, I can get like a nice even surface. Now we can use a hot glue gun to fuse our mesh onto the housing. Take a look at that. Nice and flushed. And as you can see in the back, we have the entire perimeter glue gun all over. Now what I'm going to do is cut off the excess. Now we're going to wet sand with 600 grit sandpaper. Spray it down with soap and water. Nice and thorough, even on your pad. Once you're done spraying, wipe it down with a clean microfiber. Dry microfiber actually. We're going to take our isopropyl alcohol and wipe down the area. In this step, I'll be using Plastidip to paint my car. Plastidip is applied the same way as spray can, except if you make a mistake, you can easily peel it off. What we're going to do is apply this 3 times, 10 minutes in between. The first coat is going to be light. After that, we're going to apply a heavy coat of glossifier. Make sure you have your eye protection and your respirator. Let's get this started. What I like to do is heat up the cans for 10 minutes, dry it off, and then start spraying. The first coat is a very light coat, so don't worry about not getting every single spot. We're going to just lightly do this. Coat number 2 is going to be a little slower. This is going to be a third and final coat. Here is our final finish of the matte black Plastidip. In our final painting step, we will be applying the glossifier. As the name suggests, this will add a glossy look to our matte finish. We are going to apply one heavy coat, so let's get this started. And here we got the glossified finish. I'm going to let this cure overnight and install tomorrow. The next day, I let this bake in the sun for a couple hours. Now we're going to carefully put our bezel back on. We're just going to line up the 5 clips. Now we're going to screw these back on. Check this out, you can see right into the intercooler with my mesh. Now this looks aggressive. I'm so glad how well this turned out. If you learned something new today, consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you next time.